Hello and welcome to Atop the Fourth Wall, where bad comics burn. Youngblood number 7. 7! I've looked at 6 issues of this series beforehand, and I technically did the first one twice, and yet I am still no closer to finishing it than when I did that first text review in 2007. I don't know what's weirder, that I still care enough to look at this piece of crap every year, or that you people haven't abandoned me or rioted in the comments section over how I'm still reviewing it! In either case, previously on Youngblood. Backgrounds and feet take far too much time to draw when you're trying to invent 60 new characters at once, all of whom look alike in some capacity. As such, Rob Liefeld decided to do both by inventing new members of Youngblood, even though we still don't know anything about the old members. What's that? There was a Team Youngblood book and a crossover called Extreme Prejudice that might have expanded upon the characters? 1. They had the same creative team as Youngblood. Do you really think they did that? 2. If you can't be bothered to actually put character development in your main book, why should I bother with the other books? We'll probably get to Team Youngblood eventually, outside of my annual look at this book. Oh, and Badrock was on David Letterman in a recreation of a real-life stalker of his, so you know Youngblood is all class. And the worst part is that issue 6 is probably the best issue of Youngblood so far. Seriously, it actually felt like, well, those first 6 issues were garbage, let's try a do-over, where one of the heroes is actually doing the superhero as celebrity shtick while there's an exciting, well, exciting in quotation marks anyway, fight at the White House. And it was still utter garbage! Now, I lay most of the blame on Liefeld's feet, both for the artwork and for the overall story, again, quotation marks, but the scriptwriter and editor was Eric Stevenson, so maybe he actually has some inkling of talent on display. So let's dig into Youngblood number 7, it hasn't arrived in the mail yet, and see if maybe, just maybe, some tiny bits of quality will elevate this series. I mean, we can look past bad art if the story is good, right? Right?
Welcome to Atop the Fourth Wall, where bad comics burn. Linkar's gonna teach you all a lesson you won't learn. Brodsky, you're not the smartest. Liefeld, you're not an artist. Anyone who's had a bad comic published, it could be your turn. Linkara, he's a man punch, wears a party hat. Linkara, he has a magic gun. Where'd he purchase that? Linkara, coins, robots, Amazon and trucks. Linkara, this comic sucks. Linkara.
Look at this cover. Is this not a perfect representation of Youngblood right there? Badrock winding up to punch the reader in the face. That is what this book is. The comic trying to hit us over and over. Also, great cover design. Really illustrates what to expect when it's just a dude's face and fist. We open with Shaft standing in front of a giant refrigerator. I mean, massive. Look how far back that thing must go given this perspective and relative body sizes. I guess it makes sense given how huge some of the Youngblood members are that they would need a fridge that size. This is a horror movie fridge right there. Didn't the Cinema Snob review a movie with a killer fridge? I don't even know where to start. I'd start by putting on some pants or a shirt or something. You have both the fridge and freezer door open. Your nipples must be hard enough to cut glass at this point. Let's look at the contents of this fridge. Let's see, OJ, soda, purple stuff, ooh, Sunny D. Also, we see why this fridge is so huge. Someone just made a gigantic sandwich and left it in the fridge. If If they were in such a rush that they didn't actually eat that sandwich, how did they have enough time to put it back in the fridge? Jeez, look at this. Nobody wrapped up anything in tin foil or put anything in Tupperware. They just left food with maybe a single bite taken out of it right on the shelves. Who does that? I might as well start strapping slabs of meat onto my body if I'm gonna eat any of this stuff. So you'll look like every other member of your team. Maybe just some ice cream and some cake. Yeah, a hot dog or 2 or 3. Shaft, are you pregnant? What the hell? No, what am I thinking? I can't do this. I need to stay healthy, need to look healthy. The public, they're always watching me. People look up to me. I'm a role model. Mommy, when I grow up, I want to kill people with a bow that doesn't have a string. But Shaft decides, screw that, he's hungry, and thus begins eating every single thing in the refrigerator, Homer Simpson style. And enjoy this lovely image of Shaft the Hutt as he licks his rather disgusting mouth, all the while ballooning up more and more. Oh my god, I'm a blimp! I wish you were a blimp, then you wouldn't be talking. Even though in this panel he's not holding anything, the next panel features him now holding an ice cream bar. I'd criticize the continuity, but this is pretty evidently a dream, so continuity issues like that get a pass. Instead, I'll simply enjoy the mocking laughter of everyone around him. Not because he's fat, but because at one point this book sported the tagline, "The Next Generation of Heroes." Shaft wakes up having dozed off on his couch next to his girlfriend, who in this panel looks absolutely tiny next to him. Also, sphere boobs in boob socks. Shelly! Oh my gosh, I just had the worst dream!
Was it a dream where you see yourself standing in sort of sun god robes on a pyramid with 1,000 naked women screaming and throwing little pickles at you?
No.
Why am I the only person that has that dream?
A dream? Then it must have been a doozy, Jeff. You were screaming like a crazy person! The worst! I dreamt that Youngblood actually did become that Teen Titans book it was initially supposed to be! You sure everything's alright? Yeah, everything's fine. Nothing a good 40 minutes on the treadmill won't fix. Yeah, he needs to go and sharpen his face some more. Look at that thing. Yeesh. We cut to Vail, Colorado, an actual place. It's a famous ski resort town, the 3rd largest in North America. Though slightly less famous than Aspen, Vail remains a virtual paradise for skiers, shoppers, and anyone eager to get away from the hustle and bustle of city life. It's also famous for abominable snowmen emerging from nowhere and eating people. And like Aspen, Vail is always a popular spot for vacationing celebrities. Movie stars, media moguls, pop singers, presidents, all come from far and wide to hear their legendary timeshare presentation. And of course, superheroes too, as we see this 2-page spread on its side of Bad Rock Skiing, with the composition designed to attract your eye towards his crotch. Or maybe the page separation was supposed to hide that, but obviously Rob had to draw it like this to begin with before it got put to paper. Thanks, Rob. I'm sure Die Hard appreciates how you're taking attention away from his crotch. Unknown to the world at large, Bad Rock is, in actuality, a mere 17 years old. Oh, underage crotch too. That's just frickin' brilliant. And though his life is filled with all the trappings and concerns that come with being the most popular member of the world's greatest super team...
Oh, wait, you serious? Let me laugh even harder.
There are still times when he enjoys doing the one thing that comes more naturally to him than anything else. Scarf knitting. Being a big kid. He can use his pull-ups and everything. At the base of the hill, Bad Rock meets up with some teenage fans of his, who of course want an autograph. Sure thing, but one at a time, okay? And after this, I've got a jet. My buddy Robert Steiner's stomach is growling so loud, I thought he was gonna cause an avalanche out there. I wouldn't worry too much about his stomach, Bad Rock, but I would worry about his eyes, which have shrunken to tiny, beady little things. The good Mr. Steiner is more than happy to let him, since according to his thought balloons, he's worried about the newfound popularity of Troll and the other new members. We cut to Youngblood headquarters, and its raspberry orange sky, where... Oh God, now I'm blind!
Come on now, let's get together and burn.
The sun Marty, I don't want to review comics anymore. Tell me your secret. Boyle, we have to get out of here. We have to. Boyle! You did this! Oh. Why, Liefeld? Why? Why do you do this to me? Is it because you're insulted in the theme song? Not even Gary Brodsky pulls this kind of crap. If you wanted to get to me, you didn't have to hurt so many other people. A little-known piece of superhero trivia. They can't sing. Oh yeah? Well, what about Nightcat? Okay, fair enough. Unless, of course, the hero in question happens to be a 3,000-year-old troll. Funny, I always imagined most trolls to be 12-year-olds. Dear Lord, thank you for obscuring shower doors. What do you think is worse, this or Tommy Wiseau's ass? Ugh. Troll gets out of the shower, but is confronted by that government agent who acts as a liaison for Youngblood, Graves. Some words of wisdom, Bartholomew. Never start a land war in Asia. Fame can be equally as dangerous as it is fleeting should one become too absorbed in it. Have fair warning. I am watching you. Although I admit I really wish I hadn't been watching you a minute ago. Yeah? What are you, some kind of pervert? And I will continue to watch you. In fact, I'm watching you right now. Wait, where are you going? I can't watch you if you leave the room! Why does Troll wear his goggles in the shower? Ugh, whatever. Now over to Night Saber, who I should probably just call Australian and competent, given that's his characterization. Now this is certainly something we never had back in Melbourne. Guess what Damon always said was true. Real life ain't good enough for the Americans. They gotta go and create more stuff from scratch. Have I mentioned I'm from Australia yet? Kangaroo, dingo, shrimp on the barbie. Night Saber is doing some training on some robots because we needed an action scene. Before I hooked up with Youngblood, hell, before I took on a name Night Saber, all me training was done on the streets. You'd be surprised how many robots you find on the mean streets of Brisbane. Back then, fighting was part and parcel of surviving. I could absorb the anger and aggression of those around me and harness it into concentrated energy blasts. Lucky for me, though, I had an advantage over the other wankers trying to make it. Yeah, you had massively flared boots. No one messes with someone when they have boots like that. Sorry about that, mate. Crikey, Koala Bear, Foster's! Bloody amazing all the money the US government throws round. Yeah, pretty much. Shaft, up in the control booth for the, why don't we call it, unsafe room, tells him that they're heading to Nevada. It seems Die Hard's team is down there from Team Youngblood number 10, and they're going in to get the ones responsible. Right on, mate! I've been itching for some real action! I bet, given how a few panels ago your eyes seem to be trying to migrate off your face in order to escape for this proverbial action. I have to admit, I had reservations about this one at first, but it looks like he's shaping into a fine addition to the team. Yeah, I mean, his legs look to be just as ridiculously long as yours, Shaft. Back over to Badrock in Vale, who's continuing to act as if he's in the middle of an old Mountain Dew commercial. However, his extreme skiing gets interrupted by an energy blast that knocks him into a snowbank. And the blast comes from this guy. His name, according to the comic, is Overt Kill. I don't know if that's clever or stupid, so I'm just gonna groan. Ugh. And naturally, this character has his backstory in an issue of Spawn, and he is rambling about killing Badrock. Because why would we want to establish a rivalry or mortal enemy or anything like that in the pages of the book Badrock actually is in? And he's got the headphone tube things that Liefeld puts on his characters, whose function still completely eludes me. Steiner spots Badrock in trouble and calls out to him, causing enough of a distraction to allow Badrock to punch Overt Kill in yet another 2-page spread turned on its side. I'll give it credit, at least this one tries to create motion and Badrock sending Overt Kill flying. It is, like all of the comic, badly drawn, and it honestly could have been done with just a splash page. And in fact, the next 2 pages are also turned on their side, but not for a spread, but 4 random panels of Badrock punching the crap out of Overkill. You know what I just realized? In any other story, all the noise they're generating would have caused an avalanche by now, but nope! Need to have these super sweet punches that look more like Badrock is just kind of swinging his arms up and down. See? Even I could be a member of Youngblood! Overkill shoots an energy beam again, this one much more powerful. This causes Badrock to Hulk out. I'm not even kidding. Okay, buddy, now you've made me mad! And so our comic ends on a final 2-page spread unnecessarily turned on its side, while Badrock is now even more huge and muscly than before, which I didn't even think was possible. Let's rock, dirtbag! How is Hulk one with more realistic physique? Oh, and naturally, this fight ends in Team Youngblood number 11. Were they just competing with the Spider-Man books at the time and how many different series you need to pick up in order to get a complete story? Speaking of, there's also an epilogue where Chapel, haven't seen him in a while, is running through Washington, D.C., where he references events in Bloodstrike, puts on his own stupid headphone chin brace thing, grabs some ridiculous sci-fi guns, and we learn he's on his way over to the pages of Spawn. Oh man, I'm really excited to see that long-standing rivalry between Chapel and Spawn come to fruition. Remember how that was established before this? Yeah, unsurprisingly, this comic sucks. And yet, once again, I have to give it at least a tiny bit of praise. Why? Well, we don't get much, but Do-Over Youngblood here actually bothers to try to give character development and explore the idea of them being celebrity superheroes. Sure, nothing about what we learn of these characters is all that interesting, but I give Eric Stevenson credit for at least trying to turn this thing around into something presentable. It's not working, mostly because of the Liefeld touch, but hey, it's still better than the first few issues, so kudos. And after something that bad, we need an example of something really awesome. Come back next week and the week after for The Romtrospective, a look at Rom Space Knight. And those comics have actually arrived already. Seriously, who takes a single bite out of a burger and then just sets the whole thing in the fridge?